ओके, ठीक है। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु, वील स्टार्ट। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरु। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। ठीक है प्रभु, स्क्रीन दिख रही है ना? हरे कृष्णा।
हाँ प्रभु जी, स्क्रीन दिख रही है। हाँ प्रभु जी, दिख रही है स्क्रीन।
ठीक ठीक ठीक। सो फर्स्ट आई वांटेड टू डिस्कस कि अभी अभी मैंने एक प्रेयर पढ़ा, ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। So there will be some questions I ask, so either you can unmute yourself or answer in chat. That will be nice. Okay. So the first thing which I
प्रभु जी वैसे 3.3 डिस्कस हो गया था, मतलब 3.3.2 से करना था आपको वैसे, मतलब ये
3.3 थे ना? 3.3 थे ना? हाँ, ये
हाँ।
वैसे ही रिलेटेड है। कुछ चीजें वहां से लेते हुए चलेंगे। ठीक है, मेन टॉपिक 3.3 रहेगा, पर उसके अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए कुछ क्वेश्चंस पे बस फोकस करेंगे, जितना मेरा अंडरस्टैंडिंग है ब्रो। हरे कृष्णा।
हाँ प्रभु जी, ठीक है, चलो आप स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं।
हाँ, सो द फर्स्ट थिंग व्हिच आई वांटेड टू डिस्कस वाज व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ दिस प्रेयर। लाइक आप में से कोई सर वाला कोर्स कर रहा है क्या अभी यहाँ पे?
हाँ प्रभु जी, दे ऑल आर डूइंग सर्च कोर्स, मतलब सब कर रहे हैं सर्च का कोर्स।
सब कर रहे हैं तो सर
मतलब मोस्टली शायद कई लोगों ने लेसन, हाँ सर का वीडियोस
खत्म कर
मतलब
लिया
कई
होंगे।
लोगों ने लेसन 3 देख लिया है, हो सकता है कई लोगों ने नहीं देखा।
अच्छा,
मतलब
अच्छा।
शायद कुछ लोगों ने कर लिया है, कुछ लोगों का बचा है शायद, जैसे धनंजय प्रभु ने अभी लेसन 3 नहीं किया है, और शायद बाकी तीनों ने कर लिया है। टेस्ट नहीं दिया पर कर लिया है लेसन 3 बाकी।
ओके ओके, वेरी नाइस वेरी नाइस वेरी नाइस। ठीक है, तो फर्स्ट थिंग है कि हम लोग ये प्रेयर क्यों बोलते हैं, ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य। दिस इज द प्रेयर टू द स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर। जैसे आपने सर के वीडियो में देखा होगा, सर स्टार्टिंग करते हैं इस प्रेयर से, क्योंकि और उसमें इसका ट्रांसलेशन भी आता है, दैट द स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर टेक्स अस फ्रॉम ignorance to knowledge, so we always take his blessings. Now so this whole section 3.3 is about divinity of Krishna. So प्रभु बाकी लोग अनम्यूट करके आंसर कर सकते हैं, because otherwise like I will not know what they are understanding or what they have understood till now, और उनकी तरफ से इशू है तो वो चैट में लिख
आप मतलब क्वेश्चंस,
लाइक आई डोंट नो
हाँ
हाउ टू।
मतलब क्वेश्चंस वगैरह पूछ सकते हैं वो। आप मतलब क्वेश्चंस पूछ सकते हैं इनसे, इस मतलब इनसे रिलेटेड, क्योंकि ये सब डिस्कस हो चुका है।
ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है। तो द first thing is that this topic is called divinity of Krishna. So why do we like uh, this is the topic of Bhagavad Gita, right? So why do we need to understand, or why do we try to understand this divinity of Krishna? Or in a more simple sense, I can ask that what is the purpose of understanding, what do we need to understand about Krishna when we read Bhagavad Gita? This is and you can give your own understanding. Based on your understanding, I would like to hear आप क्या, जब आप भगवद गीता पढ़ते हो तो आप कृष्णा के बारे में क्या चीजें हैं जो आप समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. So this will clear the path of our further understanding. So you can type in chat. अच्छा, वो लोग खुद से अनम्यूट कर सकते हैं.
They can speak.
हरे कृष्णा.
हाँ मतलब they can unmute and speak.
हाँ.
प्रभु जी मैं थोड़ा सा कुछ बोल रहा हूँ. मतलब जब मतलब मैं भगवत गीता अगर कुछ भी पढ़ता हूँ तो मतलब मेरे मतलब हम कृष्णा को तो नहीं अंडरस्टैंड कर सकते बिकॉज कृष्णा इनफाइनाइट है, बट हम उनके बारे में अगर पढ़ते भी हैं थोड़ा सा जानते भी हैं तो उससे हम प्योरीफाई होते हैं. तो मैं प्योरीफाई होने के लिए भगवत गीता पढ़ता हूँ, उस पर्सपेक्टिव से पढ़ता हूँ. From that perspective.
Okay, that is very nice. Or anyone would like to add something?
हरे कृष्ण.
हाँ प्रभु बोलिए. हाँ प्रभु बोलिए.
हाँ, we want to go near.
We want to go near.
In his,
We want
in his,
to go near.
in his abode. So we read Bhagavad Gita. For
Okay. That is very good. That is very good. So we will like. So what do we actually what should we understand about Krishna when we read Bhagavad Gita? This is what you are telling me is the purpose of reading Bhagavad Gita. I am asking what should we understand about Krishna when we read Bhagavad Gita, and I'll answer that because this is something like on which we should focus. And the thing is that we need to understand two things when we read Bhagavad Gita. First is that Krishna is the most powerful person. This is why we read this section, right? Divinity of Krishna. When we read about divinity of Krishna, we try to understand that he is the most powerful, he is the infinite, he is inconceivable. This is the first thing. But at the same time, he is also the most merciful, because what happens is that when we think about someone as most powerful, then we develop some respect for him. But when we also realize that at the same time he is also the most merciful, we can enter into a reciprocation with him, because he is most merciful, he is ready to help us. So with this understanding we try to read Bhagavad Gita. So like I am trying to explain some points which I have understood. If you have some comments or questions in between, you can unmute and ask, or you can put in the chat. So I want you to keep these two things in mind, that Krishna is most powerful and he is also the most merciful. So remember this for today and for future also. This will help you a lot. So this is the knowledge of Krishna. This is the knowledge about Krishna which we should understand. Now here is a point. Here it is mentioned that I have highlighted this on this right column. His activities are always auspicious and are meant to give transcendental pleasure to his devotees. So look, like the second thing which I want to discuss is why do the devotees experience this pleasure by Krishna's activities? So the question is that why do, like, I hope you can see this highlighted part. It is written that his activities are always auspicious and are meant to give transcendental pleasure to his devotees. So the question is why do the devotees experience this pleasure when when they hear about Krishna, when they talk about Krishna? Like you are all here, we are discussing about Krishna, you all are chanting. So why do we experience some kind of pleasure in this process? तो बहुत ज़्यादा इसमें सोचने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, जो भी आपके मन में थॉट्स आ रहे हैं आप शेयर कर देना, क्योंकि we also have a limitation on time and I would like to cover more stuff, more points. So if you can mention one or two things if you have something in mind, otherwise I'll discuss from what I have understood.
प्रभु जी मतलब ऐसे सोच सकते हैं कि जैसे हम ऑलरेडी मतलब कहते हैं कि हम ऑलरेडी कृष्णा कॉन्शियस होते हैं, बट हमारी जो डस्ट और इग्नोरेंस होती है वो कवर कर लेती है उसको। तो जैसे हम कृष्णा के बारे में सुनते हैं थ्रू हिज डिवोटीज, तो हमारी वो डस्ट उतरती रहती है, तो वो हमें प्लेजर देती है कोई।
ठीक है, ठीक है। Let's forget about this philosophical points. I would like to focus more on uh, your personal understanding. How do we deal with, like for example, uh, we have some friend, right? We are talking about Krishna as a person. We have some friend. Now for example, you have some friend, then definitely when you spend time with that friend, you experience some kind of pleasure, right? That is why he is your friend, and that is why you experience, you spend some time with him. So here when we talk about Krishna as a person, we try to establish a relationship with him. This thing is very important, that when he is a person we can have a relationship with him. So this is yeah, so like Bansal Prabhu has mentioned that in relationship exists pleasure. So when we have this relationship, we can reciprocate, and when we reciprocate, we experience this transcendental pleasure. So here right now I am trying to focus on why this section is important about divinity of Krishna. So this is the third point which we should understand. First was Krishna is most powerful. Second is he is most merciful, and because he is most merciful and he is a person, we can enter into a relationship with him. Okay. So now we move forward. Now there's one more thing uh, which uh, which is like some people have misconception. So what happens is that sometimes, probably this has already been discussed, but sometimes people have little confusion regarding whether uh, I should go to Krishna, or I should go to some other devata. So in that regard, like we understand from Bhagavad Gita that Krishna himself says that he is the ultimate truth. He is the beginning. He is the end. He is the uh, from him everything emanates. So he himself is saying in Bhagavad Gita, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, that he is actually the supreme God. But nowhere else in any other scriptures you will find any other devta or demigod saying this. Sometimes there is some confusion because some other devotees of those devta, uh, they they glorify them, but this is also because of their personal relationship with some particular devta, but never the demigod himself or herself says that they are supreme. It is only Lord Krishna whoever has said that he is supreme, and this is also important because knowledge of Krishna can come through him only. Okay, so this also point you should remember. So now let's move forward. uh, Yeah, so this is also one of the important things about relationship and him being a person, that he because he is my best friend. Yes. Okay. Because he is my best friend, he can reciprocate with my feelings. And here now this 3.3.2, it talked about eternal relationships, which we have already discussed. Now there is this Chatur Shloki. This is also very important, the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So this is all about Lord Krishna and his devotees. So you can probably read some of these highlighted points, like those who know Krishna, they like when we start having some knowledge of Krishna, we want to enter into a relationship with him, and that relationship comes through his devotional service. Then yes, this point I was saying, that Krishna emphatically declares that he is that God. या प्रभु, आपको मेरा कर्सर भी दिख रहा है क्या? हाँ बंसल प्रभु, और सिर्फ आपको
यस
स्क्रीन दिख रहा
प्रभु
है?
जी, कर
ठीक है, ठीक है,
कर्सर भी दिख रहा है।
okay, great. ठीक है. Now this 10.10, there is a line in it which says Tadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. So here the point comes which Rajat was mentioning, that we are covered in layer of ignorance, and this ignorance we cannot remove. It can only be removed by Krishna himself. So this is what this verse is saying, that when we surrender to Krishna, when we enter in this relationship with him, when we serve him, he himself gives us this knowledge. And what does this is the next question. This verse, what principle does this verse uh, explain, which we have already discussed today? We have discussed 3 or 4 more important principles, and this verse is related to one of those principles. So can you try to guess which principle this verse is explaining? Like we had discussed, that Krishna is most powerful, he is most merciful, he is a person, and we can enter into a relationship with him. Like this, we have discussed 3-4 important things. So this verse discuss one of those points. Can you try to guess which point it is? ठीक है, Rajkumar Prabhu is saying he is a person. Anyone else would also like to say something? Okay, so we'll move forward. Actually, the thing is that here Krishna is explaining that he is actually most merciful. Yes, Dheeraj Prabhu gave the correct understanding here, that because Krishna is most merciful, he himself comes and cleanses our ignorance, because like he already has infinite number of devotees with whom he reciprocates, but still when we try to surrender to him, he helps us also. So this is his infinitely merciful persona of his personality. So because this point is important, because the section today 3.3.3 is related to this feature of Lord Krishna. So now I'll just, for in 5-10 minutes we'll focus on this current section which we have today, and I want you to all remember these 3 or 4 points which we have discussed till now. So, and also based on this passage we will have some questions, so I'll just read this quickly for everyone. So this section 3.3.3 is about the sweet relationship. It says, although Bhagavad Gita derives her authority from Lord Krishna, who is the absolute truth, the personality of this absolute truth makes him look most attractive and beautiful. So this is the first point which we discussed, that he is most powerful. Lord Krishna as a friend or lover is much more attractive than he is the supreme controller. Following narration will entail. So let's move on to this narration. This is about a South Indian Brahman. In the holy place of Sri Rangakshetra, a Vaishnav Brahman would daily visit the temple of Lord Ranganatha, which is Lord Krishna, and recite the entire text of Bhagavad Gita. However, he was not able to pronounce the Sanskrit words correctly, and so Sanskrit scholars around the temple used to make fun of him. But just by reading the Bhagavad Gita, he was overflowing with spiritual ecstasy, and so he did not at all bother about what people were talking about him. So this verse says that this South Indian Brahman, he was trying to recite Bhagavad Gita. He did not know Sanskrit very well, so he was not able to pronounce clearly, but still he was shedding tears when he was reading. So let's see why this happened. So when Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna himself, visited Sri Rangakshetra, Sri Rangachetra and saw the Brahman shedding tears of love, he asked the Brahmana, "My dear sir, why are you in such ecstatic love? Which portion of Bhagavad Gita gives you such transcendental pleasure?" The Brahmana replied, "My lord, I am illiterate." So he is accepting that he is not able to understand Sanskrit, and therefore do not know the meaning of the words, and he is not even able to understand the meaning of those words. So you can understand, like he is reading something, he's trying to read something, but he is not understanding any word, and still he is shedding tears. So why this happens? Sometimes I read Bhagavad Gita correctly and sometimes incorrectly, but in any case I continue with my reading because it is the order of my spiritual master. First thing, this point again, like this, there is one verse which sir and Vipul sir, they both quote many times, which is regarding this following our spiritual master. Does someone remember, or someone remembers what is the translation or any part of that verse? Like sir has focused on that verse a lot. I'm sure you must have all heard about that verse. Can you try to guess which verse is that about the spiritual master? And remember, our first prayer in today's lecture was about the spiritual master only. Yes, Rajkumar Prabhu has written the correct answer. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. This verse like shows us that to gain spiritual knowledge, it is very important to surrender to a spiritual master. So this is also an extension to the point of mercy of Krishna. Krishna's mercy is distributed through his devotees, who are the spiritual masters. So now let's continue. The Brahman continued, "Actually, whenever I open the Bhagavad Gita, I only see a picture of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sitting as a charioteer, as you can see in this picture, on the magnificent chariot of Arjuna. With the reins in his hands, Lord Krishna appears very beautiful. When I see this picture of Lord Krishna driving the chariot of Arjuna, his beloved devotee, I am filled with ecstatic happiness." Lord Chaitanya thus embraced this Brahmana and stated that he had actually realized the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So, what essence did he realize? This is the crux here. Let's focus on this for a minute. Like here Lord is saying that this Brahman has actually realized the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So what is the essence of Bhagavad Gita? Like the next point we'll talk about it, but we'll discuss before that. What is the essence of Bhagavad Gita which this Brahman has realized? This is also again related to the points which I have discussed already. So all the questions are based on those points only, because I want to stress the importance of those points. You can try to take a guess from your understanding. Okay, Chiranjeev says Krishna is absolute truth. Yes. And a friendly, Dheeraj Prabhu is saying that a friendly relation of Arjuna and Krishna. Good. And Chiranjeev is continuing, Krishna is absolute truth and I am a mere servant. Yeah. Okay, so here actually I have also highlighted this part, that you can see that his beloved devotee. So here again those that's like both of the answers are correct actually. The first point is Brahmana has realized that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He himself is saying it here, and still he is acting as a charioteer for his beloved devotee. So here again the first two principles are stressed, that Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is most powerful, and at the same time for his devotee, for his beloved devotee, he is most merciful, that he is able to take a menial service for his devotee. So this is the point. Like when someone is very powerful, we try to develop some respect and awe for him, but we cannot enter into a personal relationship with him. We have some respect, and that creates a separation between him and us. Like you might have some respect for the Prime Minister, but this also creates a separation. You cannot enter in a very close relationship with the Prime Minister like a friend of his would do. But because Krishna is most merciful, we can have this close relationship with Krishna, in which he is also ready to serve us. He is also ready to serve his devotees, his pure devotees. Yeah, so like Abhishek Prabhu has mentioned the crux of this point, that Krishna is absolute, but he allows himself to be conquered by his devotees. So in that sense, the devotees become even greater than Krishna. Though Krishna is the greatest, still the devotees can become greater than Krishna. So this point you should keep to your heart. So let's move on to the answer. What is the essence of Bhagavad Gita? Why we have already discussed this, Lord Krishna is inconceivable. So what is that which makes the seeker of truth to dedicate oneself life after life? It's one relationship with the Supreme. So this point we have discussed, right? He is the Supreme, most powerful, inconceivable, and that we want to enter in a relationship with Krishna. Yes, so let's move. Though Lord Krishna is Lakshmipati, husband of the goddess of fortune, full of all the opulences, he readily took the humble position of the chauffeur, the chariot driver. For this extraordinary pastime of his, he is glorified even today as Partha Sarthi, charioteer of Partha or Arjuna. And the Brahmana of Sriranga Kshetra is able to perfect his life by simple meditation on this sweet relationship, the relationship between Krishna and his devotees. So these are the key points, right? And they keep on occurring. The point that Krishna is the absolute truth, he is most merciful, and that there is a sweet relationship between him and his devotees. So let's pray for our own divine relationship with Krishna, which is our eternal right. So Abhishek Prabhu, this I think this covers our section for today. We can have maybe a
yes,
couple of
Prabhu.
more discussion, and then we can finish.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So now anyone has any question regarding this? I will try to answer from my understanding if anyone has any question. Otherwise, there are 4 or 5 basic points which I have discussed, and which you should try to remember and meditate upon. Those are the crux of today's discussion. Okay, so if anyone has question, they can type, or they have any comments, they want to share something that is also very nice, they can say that. I'll wait a minute for people to speak. Yes, please, Chiranjit, ask. You can type or you can speak by unmuting. And also there are some questions, so please have a look at those questions on your own, and then in next sessions you can discuss if you have some doubts. Also there is this WhatsApp group, so you can also share your questions there. Earlier devotees were sharing their question, but now it has probably stopped a bit. But you can these questions you can go through, and if you have any doubt you can post on that group. Shiranjit, you can ask your question. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, it has been told in Sir's course that Krishna is not the cause of material activities. Okay, yes, that is true. At least I think I've also heard Sir, and I there is to some extent I am able to understand that this is true. What is the question actually? We want to understand the statement, but it has also been told that Krishna is the cause of all causes. Yes. How? So I'll try to explain this. Probably you can ask this to Vipul sir also, because he will be able to explain this a lot better. Okay, but I'll try to explain from my understanding. So there are multiple causes. One cause is the ultimate cause. One cause is the remote or the most immediate cause. So when we talk about Krishna, the first statement, Krishna is not the cause of material activity, we are talking about the immediate cause. Uh, like for example, uh, for example, you are not on good terms with some person, and then uh, in your anger you have a fight with him. In your anger you hurt that person. So like some people might blame Krishna that oh, it was only because of Krishna that I have hurt this person, and I am not to be blamed for this injury which has happened. So like this is like you are just doing something and you are passing the blame to Krishna. So this is the wrong understanding. Actually, uh, like you had also heard, sir, that he talks a lot about three modes of material nature. So so because of the modes, because of the qualities we have acquired, our like those kind of actions which we do, like if you have uh, if you have this quality of anger in which you are unable to control yourself, because of that you have actually hurt someone. It is not because of Krishna that you have hurt someone. So in that sense, it is here sir is saying that Krishna is not this cause of this material activity, this injury, this which has happened. You are actually the cause. You are unable to control your anger, that is why you have hurt this person. But like Krishna is also Krishna is the ultimate cause, in the sense that he provides us this facility to do actions. Like this body is given to us by Krishna. The ability to move this body is because of the super soul, which is also Krishna. So if Krishna withdraws this power of the super soul, then we'll not be able to move this body, we'll not be able to even lift a finger. So in that sense you would have heard that कि लोग ऐसा बोलते हैं कि एक पत्ता जो भी अगर हिलता है तो भी भगवान की इच्छा या उनके उनके परमिशन के बाद ही हिलता है. So in that sense he is the ultimate cause. He allows us to but he has given us this freedom to uh, use our free will. So in that sense he has given us this freedom, so he becomes the ultimate cause. But because we utilize this freedom and we also misutilize this freedom, so because of this that misutilization we become the immediate cause. And then in that sense Krishna is not the cause of our material activities. But when we are when there are pure devotees who are not working in this, who are not involved in this material activities, they are involved only in the spiritual activities, they are actually doing everything on the will of Krishna. They have completely surrendered to Krishna, and then whatever actions they are doing is actually only as per the direction of Krishna. So in for them, for their action, who are pure devotees, for them Krishna also becomes the immediate cause and also the ultimate cause. So this is my understanding. If you have some comment on this, you can mention. Otherwise, you can also discuss with this Vipul sir, because he will explain this in much more depth. Okay. So anyone has any follow-ups or any more questions? Is Krishna not is Krishna not more important than supporting us? Sorry, your statement is supporting us. Oh, I think this is regarding the point that Krishna has provided us the facilities. So there is this principle which you have to understand, that our independence is regarding we surrender to instructions of Krishna, or we surrender to the instructions of these three modes which govern our action. So like if you would listen to sir more, sir always tells that we are not the actor. Either Krishna is acting through us or the three modes are acting. So how like we can understand this through an example how the three modes are acting. Suppose you are in college, you have to get up early to go to classes. Now someday you have slept late and you wake up at 8 o'clock and there is this class at 8 o'clock. Now you have three options, like you have some options, like you will get up, you will go to the class, or you will go back to sleep again. So now, because we understand that going to class is important, but sometimes like I'm sure you would have also felt this, that sometimes even after knowing that the right thing to do is to like go to the class, we still are unable to find the strength to get out of the bed, or like in all the situations we are not able to find the strength to do that action, and like we feel lazy and procrastinate and we go back to sleep. Or like for exercising also, we know that exercising is good, but whenever we want to exercise, our mind will say, this is very tiring, I have to do this much important work, I will do exercising tomorrow. So all these kind of thoughts, based based on, and you will mostly succumb to your thoughts. You will say that okay, I'll probably sleep, or you may go to class also. So this decision which you have taken, whether to go to class or whether to sleep, this depends on the qualities you have acquired, which we call the three modes of material nature. So based on the quality which you have acquired, your like the action you only that action you will take. You So that is only our independence, that either we can surrender to these qualities, these three modes of material nature, and then these three modes will act. Then also we will not be the actor. These qualities will guide and force us to act. So sometimes we feel that like we want to do something, but our mind is not participating. It is giving us different kind of thoughts. It is not focusing in the task, and it wants to do something else. Like sir gives this example of studying before the night of exam or going to a movie. So this, if we are not surrendered to Krishna, these qualities will overpower us, and all the actions which we do will be a result of those qualities which we have acquired through our association. And if we are surrendered to Krishna completely, then whatever actions which we do is because of the desire of Krishna. And these qualities also, they work under the direction of Krishna. Okay, so this is a difficult topic, and I also do not have very good understanding on this. So like I hope you were able to understand some points, and more discussion like we can do, either we can do or you can do with sir, but it will take more time to understand this. Like this class is not probably good for this question. It takes time to explain this question. Okay, so anyone has any more questions?
हरे कृष्ण सर।
हाँ प्रभु, प्लीज आस्क।
प्रभु जी, एक मुझे थोड़ा कंट्रोवर्शियल क्वेश्चन था। मतलब जैसे सर ने ना, मतलब कोर्स में, मतलब मैंने एक जगह हाउ कैन वी नो गॉड, तो सर ने डिक्लेयर किया कि हम डिवाइन रिवलेशन की तरह जा सकते हैं। उसमें एक टॉपिक था होली बुक्स। तो होली बुक्स में मतलब बहुत सारी बुक्स थी, इसमें कुरान बाइबल भी था। तो मतलब कुरान में, मतलब जैसे मैंने सुना है कि बहुत सारी गलत चीजें भी लिखी हुई हैं, तो यदि वो गॉड मेड थी तो उसमें गलत चीजें कैसे आ सकती हैं?
This principle is explained actually. See, जैसे कुरान, this is explained that कुरान शायद जिनको दी गई थी, they were fishermen, some kind of profession like that. They were fishermen or tribals. So this principle is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, that like this knowledge is revealed only. We cannot, like we can make our effort, but in the end knowledge will come to us only when it is revealed by the spiritual master or by Krishna in the form of super soul sitting inside us. So this knowledge is always revealed as per the time, place and circumstances. Like there is a statement of Lord Jesus Christ that he is saying that there is a lot more he wants to explain about the kingdom of God, but the people to whom he is talking, they are not qualified to understand that. So he is only giving that much at that particular time which they can understand. And still you know that some people went against him and they crucified him, and because he was a pure devotee, he happily took their sins, because he was a pure devotee and he had a lot of compassion. But the point is that he said that lot of things he knows, but he is not speaking because the people there cannot understand, and still there were many people who could not understand what he was actually saying, and they went against him and crucified him. So similarly, in the Quran also, there are many things which have been said, which are only catering to those people which are to whom those teachings are spoken, because their understanding is limited, so they can understand only very limited they can understand in a limited sense only, for example, in some place you would find that meat eating is allowed, but we know that meat eating is totally wrong in Kali Yuga and it is not allowed. But because there also in meat eating they have specified that you should not eat this animal, you should not eat this animal. So in that sense, meat eating was so prevalent that at that time that people did not know that we should not eat this animal or we should not eat that animal, or this animal is very pure. So because if you tell them from the beginning that you do not eat meat, they might not be able to follow. So that is why restrictions are there. Like in the Vedas also, Vedas cater to the needs of everyone. So in the Vedas also there are some sacrifices through which you can offer and eat meat. Because why they are given? Because not everyone can give up their sinful tendency in one go. So these restrictions are given so that you can continue this activity in a regulated way, and at the same time progress in this path of devotion. Okay, so because of these restrictions, they have to offer and they can eat, in the Vedas that they said they have to offer it to goddess Kali, and they can eat only on Amavasya day, once in a month. So because of these restrictions and offering, they get purification, and then they have to say some mantra which means that the dear animal, I am eating and I am killing and eating you in this life, and so you get the permission to kill and eat me in my next life. So you suppose that if someone is saying this kind of prayer before killing an animal, that I am killing you now and you can kill me later, then their consciousness will change, right? That they will start thinking that if because of this act I will have to suffer in the future, so let me stop this act. So this kind of knowledge is given based on time, place and circumstances. And then then also some people misinterpret this knowledge, and they try to corrupt these teachings. So that case is also there. So there are 2 points to notice, that these scriptures are also given by God, but it depends on it depends on the people to whom these scriptures are given. So based on what they can understand, the knowledge is revealed. And the second is that some people also misinterpret these principles, and then you should only refer to bona fide devotees only when you are reading about these. Okay, does that make sense, Prabhu? Were I able to clarify some of your doubts? Okay, so if you have something, we can discuss more later also. I think we have went a lot more than suppose. We should have finished by 7. We went to 7:25, but you asked some good questions, so it is good. If anyone has any more question, we'll just take it for 1 minute. Otherwise, we'll wrap up, and you can ask your questions in the group. That will be very nice, because when you ask in group, then other people also get to know your questions, and they will get to know the answers as well, and we will have some interaction with all the devotees present, right? So it is good if you ask your questions in the WhatsApp group, because not many people are able to attend these sessions today. There are more devotees in the WhatsApp group, so they can also benefit from your questions. Okay, so we'll finish then for today. And if you have any more things or comments, you can probably, if you have some comments also regarding today's session, you can post in the WhatsApp group. So it will also motivate others to join our sessions. Okay. So that's it from my side. And just remember those 3 or 4 points which we have discussed. They will help you in understanding the future lectures also. And probably Bansal Prabhu can finish
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the class. I can discuss the shloka with them for 10 minutes.
Okay. Yes. I was not clear that what you're going to do, but you can. So I'll go and you can continue your discussion. So.
Okay.